Guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the buffed repub. This ship got a Sigma buff this update, going from 2.0 up to 2.1. And if you don't know what Sigma is, it's part of the dispersion calculation, and it essentially tells you how likely your shells are to go towards the center of your dispersion ellipse, which is drawn by your horizontal and vertical dispersion. You only see horizontal dispersion in-game, by the way. There's a lot of hidden values, but this should make us a little bit more consistent if we're aiming correctly, as we did not do on that Yoshino. But guess what's on the other side of the map? There's a Moskva flat broadside. Doing a little trick there, spamming M key to see the map, but not going fully into the map view allows me to have a bit of a bird's eye view on this guy. And we get a dev strike right off the bat. Amazing way to start this game. Yeah, Republic is kind of crazy now. The dispersion was incredible. It still trolled me from time to time, don't get me wrong. But back-to-back dev strikes, possibly. There's a Cleveland. Look at that dispersion, man. We hit 7 out of 8. 6 of those overpens. We don't quite get the dev strike. But yeah, poor Cleveland. It's pretty tough playing in those double up tiers. Incredible stuff here. But I gotta have one small asterisk on this dispersion and how much I enjoyed Republic. There's a bug right now in the game that is doubling your dispersion mod upgrade here. Now we'll spoil the second game a little bit on the reload there. But you can see our dispersion actually has a buff in game when we're taking a look at our main guns. And essentially what's going on is when you're loading into the match, for whatever reason, the dispersion mod you put on your ship, so 7% in the case of Republic, applies again. So we're not quite getting the full 14%. It's more of a multiplicative thing. So still very close to 14% better dispersion than normal repub. So is this amazing dispersion and consistency I'm getting here out of Republic thanks to the 2.1 Sigma buff? Or is it thanks to this dispersion mod bug? That's the problem here. Unfortunately, I can't go into this wholeheartedly recommending you go play your repub and have an absolute blast with it like I did playing it. Perhaps you can for a little bit here. Who knows how long it'll take Wargaming to actually change this and actually fix this bug. For now, though, it's absolutely incredible. The dispersion I was getting was absolutely awesome. One of the things I did not like about Republic in the past was its inconsistent dispersion. I still had awesome games out of this ship. The damage output is incredible on this thing. You get like a 20-second reload. You get 431mm guns. You're overmatching 30mm of armor. Look at this dispersion, by the way, into the bow of this Republic here. Look at how precise that is. That's crazy. You just never used to see this out of Republic, or very rarely, and we're consistently getting this outcome. Republic got a lot of damage thanks to its fast reload, but sometimes inconsistent main guns. I personally preferred the impactful main salvos like we'd see on Vermont, for example. Slow reload, but more consistent on those individual salvos. I like that a little bit more. But if Repub's given us that consistency with a 20-second reload, I won't say no. But I do think Wargaming will fix this bug. Certainly Overmatch not being fun at all to fight against. I'm totally with you. It's not an enjoyable experience as a cruiser. Do we really need it more accurate? No, I don't think that is the answer. I would love to have better accuracy if we reworked things like Overmatch so it's less impactful. More damage to broadside ships, less damage to angled ships. I've been saying that for years, right? You've certainly heard that before if you've been on this channel. And I love that this bug exists outside of those caveats of Overmatch as well as SAP. Imagine Legmod Colombo, for example. It was a little trolly. Like, look at this Alaska salvo. It's a little trolly at times, okay? But legendary upgrades also apply twice when they give you a dispersion buff. So Colombo is doubled in its accuracy. It's kind of crazy, this bug right now. Let me know if you want a video to explain it a little further. I know Flamu did some testing on it. Certainly, I think he was the first one to find it. Not sure about that exactly, but if you want me to show you some of the testing I was doing in the training room over the weekend, I could definitely make a video on that. But just know for now, that Dispersion is a little bit over buffed right now, thanks to a bug. 2.1 Sigma, though, is nice to have, I will say. The consistency should be there, but a 0.1 Sigma buff, I'm not sure if that's as noticeable as I experienced here with the Republic during my testing here. I think given that my North Carolina buff coverage from a very long time ago now, maybe over a year ago, North Carolina went from 2.0 Sigma to 2.05 Sigma. Nothing else changed. So a smaller buff, half the Sigma buff that Republic got, and I couldn't tell, to be honest with you. I just could not tell the difference between 2.0 and 2.05 Sigma on the North Carolina. So is this dramatic change? I mean, 4 out of 4 on that Yu Yang. You saw me miss there with the front gun and just the insane dispersion we got there. I don't think 0.1 Sigma is this good. Although then we don't hit anything. Yeah, it can troll at times still, certainly. Champagne here at the very edge of our range. Hold on, doesn't Republic get 26 kilometers of range? Well, not if you're running Legendary upgrade. Yes, we had to bring that build out yet too. I played a bunch of games with the normal build and we had some good ones. Certainly that first game was a great example of that. But Legendary mod giving us massively reduced range, which is a pretty big downside these days, let's be honest, for even better reload. I'm also taking Furious here, so anytime I have a Fire or Flood, even better reload. I have Heavy AP for even more alpha damage out of our armor piercing. I also have Close Quarters Combat, so that's going to give me better reload when someone's within my secondary range. So we're not going secondary build for the secondary damage. Another 7 out of 8 salvo there on that cruiser. Pretty wild stuff there. We're going for secondary buffs to buff our main gun reload is the idea here. And we're going to get that reload down. This is the lowest I think I've ever got it, 10.5 seconds later on in this game. Absolutely wild to have that kind of reload on the Republic. Although you do have to be burning a little bit to get those full buffs. And broadside on, battleship. This is a battle cruiser here. In fact, that one actually got a buff as well. So many ships to take a look at. Very, very excited to go through all of these. But a little bit hard for me to actually evaluate some of these changes, right? I guess I'll have to talk about this anytime there's a ship I'm looking at that got buffed for its accuracy. Or even just any buff in general, right? Like if a damage buff was received, maybe I do better in it just because the accuracy is better. My Zhao coverage is also kind of wrong, I guess, thanks to this doubling of our accuracy buffs. Zhao, I was using Legendary mod. Well, that gets doubled as well. I suppose my Sevastopol one take or chip request from last week also is a little bit invalidated. I had a blast in that video. I had a ton of fun playing Sevastopol, and I was thinking maybe I was wrong about these 6-gun ships. Maybe that's just the bug, right? A little disappointing there. We'll see. I haven't heard anything. Wargaming hasn't said anything on this yet, so who knows? Maybe this is intended. Certainly wouldn't mind that, although, again, another just wonky salvo here on the Alabama. A little bit hit and miss there, although perhaps that was lock-on bug to me. That might have been a lock-on issue there. I don't know. A little bit hard to tell. We've got 100k so far. Not a bad start by any means, but we're certainly going to ramp the damage rather quickly. That's the key with Republic. If you're looking to grind a ship like Republic, just know the rest of the line does not play like this one. The rest of the line does not have the overmatch for its tier. Typically, they're smaller guns for their tier. And certainly they don't have this kind of reload either. The tier 9 has 12 guns. Yet much worse dispersion. It's kind of an awkward tier 10 at the end of this line, I guess. It's very good though, as we again have a bit of a rough salvo there, at least when it comes to the front guns. Republic is fun though. Certainly if you're looking for those faster reloading battleships, maybe you're someone who hates those longer reloading battleships, right? Maybe the opposite of me, where I love the Vermont and it's sometimes consistency, but a lot of consistency there. Maybe you just hate waiting around for reloads. Republic is an awesome option for you. Really, really interesting ship to take a look at. Really fast reload, decent enough overmatch. The damage output is absolutely incredible on this thing. Feels a bit like a large battle cruiser that has 32 millimeters of armor everywhere, instead of getting overmatched by some of those 30 mil overmatching guns. Although you do have to watch for the 32mm overmatch in this one. Very large and not very maneuverable either is the other thing about Republic. It's a little odd considering Bourgogne as well as Patrie, the super ship, is quite maneuverable as well. They have a 15% engine boost, and Republic's engine boost is only 8%. So kind of interesting there. Small differences, I suppose. Already up to 160,000 damage. You can see how it racks up pretty quick. If you're not paying attention to that number in the top right corner, this reload nets you so much damage so quickly. Republic can die quickly, though, is kind of the point of the armor and lack of maneuverability, I suppose. But given the firepower here, that's probably fine. I think this ship really does do a ton of work in random battles. I would not recommend the legendary upgrade. As fun as a meme as it is, it's very hard to play. And most of the games, you're feeling like you're locked out of the match where you can't even fire at a lot of people just because the ranges are so far these days, especially when you get into those carrier games, I guess. Pushing here on the enemy Republic now, we could swap to the HE, and in fact, I probably should swap to the HE. Something about Republic that's very special, I suppose, is that its HE shells are absolutely incredibly powerful. They have 6,300 alpha damage and 48% fire chance. You can get over 10,000 damage HE salvos, and the 48% fire chance is pretty similar to Conqueror. Certainly Conqueror has 12 guns, but a little better accuracy on repub, better reload. You're a pretty incredible HE spammer as well. The guns are no joke here, and given the dispersion we're seeing out of this ship right now, whether that's down to the Sigma buff or more likely, in my opinion, down to this aiming systems doubling bug, it's a really good ship to play right now. It is really good. Takahashi there avoiding our salvo, possibly just dodging the guys that are closer to him. So we'll re-aim here. We're loaded again so quickly that it doesn't really matter. And we get another massive salvo. No dev strike, but a massive salvo into him. The real strength here of Republic is not only that you're overmatching these cruisers, but anytime you catch a cruiser bow in, they're forced to turn away from you. A lot of other battleships aren't quite reloading quick enough to actually get the punishing salvo when they decide to turn. As a cruiser, you can bait out a Montana, let's say. Bait the salvo while you're angled, and then you can do that broadside on turn to the Montana while he's reloading. Republic, you can't do that too. This is a bit of an extreme example. We finally got the arms race combined with this build. So 2 arms race reload buffs. We don't quite get to see the full thing here, but 1 fire. We're at like, what, a 11, 12 second reload right now on the Republic. And we miss everything. But that's okay. We get to fire again, man. Faster reload than I was having in Zhao. Oh man, it is really quite fun to run a stupid build like this. Most of the time it didn't work for me. I will be totally honest with you. This is a fully cherry-picked match, this one. The first one, not so much. The standard build that I was running certainly had more consistent games, and the one I would definitely recommend to you guys, but given how well it performed here, I had to include it, man. 10.5 second reload on the repub right now with this double fire. It's just stupid here. Just absolutely stupid. And the overmatch into this Okendo, he's doing a good job of dodging, honestly, to be fair. He's doing a very good job of avoiding this incoming damage. Some of the dispersion has been a little wonky, but still, very good game out of the Republic. Very nice buff out of Republic if this is entirely intended. There you go, 10.5 seconds. We've nearly cut our reload in half. And at the bottom there, you saw that, again, that little dispersion buff icon, the little brackets and the green number beside the dispersion. And it seems like that's a bug. Doesn't seem intentional to me, but 282 to finish this one off. Got some citadels again. A few secondary hits, but don't go secondaries for the secondary damage. We go secondaries just to buff the main gun's reload even further. And all AP here just because I'm greedy for that armor piercing. I should, though, to be honest with you, I really should be swapping to the HE a lot of the time. It is very powerful HE, and when people are angled, you will get more damage out of it. And as for the builds that I was using, I would recommend you take the more standard, safe build on the Republic, but if you're feeling a little spicy or you want to try something, a build like this can be very fun. Furious giving us that 10% better reload on the first fire or flood, and then every fire or flood after gives you a further 5%. We're also taking long-range secondaries, not because we want to buff these secondaries, but because close quarters combat gives us a further 10% faster reload whenever an enemy ship is spotted within our secondary range. Very useful. If you play around island cover and there's an enemy on the other side, well, guess what? You just have a 10% reload then. Of course, we're going Adrenaline Rush as well. I'm greedy for heavy AP. I'm taking AA and Defense Expert here, just because of that 40% faster cooldown on our consumables. Not sure if that's really worth it, though. If you're not seeing carriers or airstrike ships, then Grease the Gear is probably much better. And we notice here, not taking the standard survivability upgrades or concealment, trying to surprise people with concealment. Yeah, not doing that here either. Probably not the wisest build. If I was to go a little more standard, certainly the build I was running in the first game and the vast majority of the games that I was playing, I would go like this. I do want Gunfeeder. I know I didn't use the HE in the videos, but I did shoot a few salvos here and there, and it's very, very powerful. Very powerful HE. Again, I'm a bit of a greedy person for those black ribbons. I want those citadels. Grease the Gear is very strong here as well, and I do still want to greed out to that heavy AP on this ship. Very nice damage buffs. But we do want the extra survivability provided by these other upgrades. I even try to build running improved repair party readiness and trying to get to 6 heals on this ship. A little bit difficult to use that as well. Certainly a more standard build works much better on this ship. The legendary upgrade, I mean, at 24% range penalty, 19.8, that is brutal. That is brutally punishing for a ship with only 32 millimeters of armor. Going standard reload, you still get most of the reload benefit. 12% versus 18%. Still an incredibly fast reload on this ship. Very, very powerful. And you get much more comfortable range. That's why I wouldn't recommend you actually run the, the legendary upgrade. It can be funny, though. 32 millimeters of armor everywhere. It's a pretty large ship, as you can see. So that overmatch HE spam can be a little bit rough to deal with here. But if you play it more like those battle cruisers, just a large, tankier, more HP battle cruiser, it can work out very, very well for you. And certainly if you're not a huge fan of battleships with a very long reload, Republic is an obvious choice. Very, very fun ship. And with this buff, it was very fun. But is it the buff or is it the bug? That's the problem here. Wargaming's made my job a little bit difficult, letting you guys know if this ship is incredible now or not. I personally believe that dispersion buffs are much more impactful than Sigma buffs. So I think a lot of the reason this ship felt much more accurate was down to this potential dispersion mod doubling bug, not the Sigma as much. That's an opinion, though. I can't know that for sure unless Wargaming was to change the game and fix this bug. Then I would be able to try Republic again for you guys. So look forward to that possibly in the future. And again, let me know if you want to see a more detailed video on this bug or not, some of the testing that I did over the weekend, because I can make a video for that as well if you're interested. But for now, that is going to do it for the Republic. Absolutely awesome ship, incredibly fun, unique tier 10 battleship here. Thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.